Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebartogo.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we check in with Andrew Wiehebrink of independent Stave Company. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Steinkamp and Andrew Wiehebrink.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Hello.
good to be here.
Good to see you guys. Demetrius Kane was supposed to be with us. He bailed, though, last minute. Not surprisingly.
Well, there was an injury.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, he's always busy, and so I knew that there's a risk he's not going to show up, and he didn't. But he injured himself today. He has no heat at his house. He can't get out of his.
He has heat at the house, not at the distillery.
Right, yeah, at the distillery.
Yeah,
but he can't really get out of his house or something hardly. It's a whole thing, and he has to podcast. If he podcasts, it has to be at the distillery because that's where he would have Wi-Fi. Should he have?
Yeah, he doesn't have any internet at the house, right?
No, he doesn't. Oh, so
yeah, I don't think he does. Yeah,
there's a whole thing going on with that guy, and we're finishing up Snowmageddon, and I say we're finishing it up. Hopefully, we're get past this. But we'll see. But before we get to our topic today, when we're checking in with Andrew Wiehebrink, Andrew, it's been a while since you've been on here, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to think when the last time I was on one of your podcasts, and I mean, it's got to be well over a year, right?
Oh yeah, it's been a while, and I don't
maybe
know
even
why.
2.
I don't think 2.
Yeah.
You just got, it was like you stopped calling.
No,
The last time I remember Andrew was the Bourbon Talk Show when we were still doing the YouTube show. It's been a while.
So that's been a while. So he was on that for sure. So
yeah.
that's over a year, but not 2 years.
That's too long.
It is too long. Steinkamp, you said there's something you want to talk about before we get on our topic today. We're checking with Andrew.
Yeah. So today's podcast comes out Tuesday, January 14th, and I'm a little behind the times here, but are Christmas cards done? How many Christmas cards did you get this year? Is that a thing of the past?
I think whatever you got this year will be the most you ever get, and because each year it'll dwindle. Because there are going to be a small contingent, and I want to say, what we got to maybe 10, but and then it may be 8 next year. 7. We still get a couple. My wife sends them out, so the warden sends them out. I say, why do we do this? But she wants to. So,
are you saying it's gonna get smaller because more are going digital, or is it gonna be smaller because you're getting older and your friends are dying? Like, what? Why do you say it's getting smaller?
Well,
Andrew should be on the podcast more often.
Right.
I'm generally curious because we didn't get one digital card. Everything that we got was still the old school
analog. And how many is that?
Guesstimate.
I think I got 1.
Okay.
I think Jen got about 6 or 7.
Okay, so it's a small number there. Yeah.
But you used to get like 30, right? You, as a kid, even it wasn't that long ago, you'd put them on the back of the door, right? Tape them all up, and you'd have a
Yeah.
bunch on there.
Yeah.
Don't you think? And again, I didn't get digital. I don't think this is a digital play at all. I got zero digital. I haven't got a digital
Yeah,
Christmas
me
card
neither.
in
No.
years. But I think what it is people are connected to everybody every day now via social media. They don't feel like they need to send a Christmas card where you kind of catch up and here's what's going on
Right.
and all that stuff. Now the warden doesn't have social media, so she I think feels the need to send out Christmas cards and wonders why people don't. But that's part of the connectivity. It's like, why do I need to send a card that I know exactly what they're doing every day? I might know too much. I don't.
I think
when
when I was younger, we used to get the Christmas cards that had like the 3-page letter telling them, like,
Right.
hey,
Oh,
here's
yeah,
everything
yeah.
Right.
I've done this year, and it's like, geez, good Lord.
yeah.
Right.
We
And
haven't
that
got any of
goes
those
on-
anymore.
Yeah, that goes on Facebook and Instagram now. Here's what we did this year.
Right.
And you see it all along. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking about it, the other day, and I'm like, I got 2 Christmas cards this year, which, might be saying something about me, but,
I only got one. So
Yeah.
but
one.
also, well, one of them was from like a vendor. So
Right.
really we only got one, and actually that one was business related too. But even that one, I used to get, with being the financial advisor office, I used to get a bunch of them from all the different companies. You don't even get those anymore. It's there were none. And like family, none. I didn't get any.
Do you guys send out any?
My wife sends them out to
Older relatives are good to send them to.
Yes, right.
That's where you send them. Yeah, grandma, grandpa.
But like even this year, I didn't send them out to clients for the first time ever, and nobody's complained yet.
right.
So I just feel like everybody's caught up. You see it all. I think the thing was, hey, here's our pictures. Here's what we did this year. But you see all that now on social media. I think I agree with you, Steve. I think the less and less. It's going to be less of a thing.
Yeah.
McNew, how many did you get?
3. One was my mom, one was my aunt, and the third was Katie Joyce, who sends the nicest cards.
Oh yeah, Katie Joyce is a good
Katie
one.
is a card girl, and I appreciate it.
The
but
ABV Barrel Shop made that one. That was on there.
it's
On the
nice
tree.
to
It was an ornament on the tree. ABV Barrel Shop ornament on there.
You know who sends the best Christmas cards is Colin Blake,
Really?
formerly of Moonshine University.
Yeah.
Oh.
He never sent me one. Never
Yeah,
sent
me neither.
Yeah, he at one point in his
Steve's-
career, he was a stand-up comedian.
Really?
And
I
as
can
you know-
absolutely believe that. The guy's incredible.
everybody
He's a good
says
storyteller,
that.
no doubt. Yeah.
Nobody knows it, but when you say it, it's like, yeah, it definitely makes sense. So yeah, his humor is definitely reflected in his cards. I look forward to getting those.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And where's he at now?
He works for Peggy No Stevens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
there you
right.
go.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I know more about him than Wiehebrink does, and Wiehebrink got the damn card.
Well, I wasn't
And-
sure if I was allowed to say or not.
Oh, it's what is it? Secret? It's a
Oh, I don't know.
No,
you
he
know,
posted it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, he posted it.
Well,
Yeah.
Wiehebrink, yeah. Was
Yeah, I'm the
into
worst.
Yeah.
I'm the worst with social media. LinkedIn. I can open my LinkedIn. I've got messages from like 8 months ago.
LinkedIn is annoying. It just seems like everybody on there's trying to find a job somewhere. I get it. But
That's all it's for.
we're trying to move to a different job. I can't do it.
I can't either. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, good times. All right. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Wiehebrink. Wiehebrink, you remember we do cork pops? Let's see if
Oh
we
yeah,
can-
yeah.
Okay. What do you got?
So I've got a bottle of 1792 aged 12 year that Danny Kahn gave me. He was the master distiller over there.
Yeah.
And this is a 2021 National Bourbon Heritage Month pick.
Okay.
So 48.3%, aged 12 years. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not much. Not much.
Nah, not much.
That's our leader. We did hear it, so it was a little bit there. Has anyone ever watched Andrew Wiehebrink and Bourbon Reminiscing, the TV show Bo and I shot? Dude, you were fantastic in that because you had Bronner, who was annihilated. Oh my God,
Live show. I was there when
you were
that.
like you had to be a caretaker for that guy. It was hilarious. The way you two
Is-
played off one another. It's
Is
awesome.
this the one where you just like ask questions of people and then they?
Yeah, we throw out cultural stuff, like TV
Yes,
shows. and
yes,
stuff, and
I've
then they
seen
talk
that.
about it.
I remember Bronner being
Yeah,
happy. Yeah.
yeah. He was talking to.
Yeah, he was happy before it started.
It's true. That's true. Yeah. He slept through. He was supposed to podcast with me Sunday and just yesterday. He slept through it. So yeah.
Like he slept through the podcast, or he just didn't make it on.
He slept through the podcast. It was like 6 o'clock. Well, 7 o'clock his time at night. I was sick all day. I was just sick, and I slept through it. So yeah.
Pretty good impression.
yeah. So there you go. All right, McNew, what do you got?
I was lazy and just left everything in here from Friday, so I'm going to go some Hotel Tango bourbon.
Okay, that was solid. I've got just named my whiskey of the year, Leopold 8. Leopold 8, finished in 3-chamber rye barrels. Let's see what we got here.
Ooh. Wow,
might be strong. Cork pop of the year right there. That's our lead.
Strong.
That's our lead. Steinkamp, you got to beat that.
And I have Buzzard's Roost Char No. 1 Rye.
Okay.
Thinking of Bronner.
Yeah. Okay.
Total base.
Not much there. That was my whiskey of the year last year, so just heads up there. Well,
that's a good one.
Yeah. No,
I think you won, Steve.
I won, so cheers, gang.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk to Wiehebrink about his career, what he's got going on, and what's happening. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show. All right. Grab one of those. Oh, God. It's George T. Stagg. We just throw it around here at the ABV Barrel Shop. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we are catching up with Andrew Wiehebrink.
Yes, we are. So Wiehebrink, again, it's been a while since you've been on, and hopefully people know who you are, but most people don't pay attention to the people that really make things happen in the business. A lot of times they gravitate towards, master distillers and stuff like that. And that makes sense. But, you're one of those guys we rank behind the scenes. It's really important. You work with a lot of different distilleries. You run the research center for independent Stave, so you do barrel research to help make better whiskey and things like that. You work with almost every distillery certainly of note you're working with. So, You have an incredibly important job, so it's kind of interesting just to hear a little bit about what you do and what you've got going on right now. So we'll just kind of give a general idea of what your job is first.
Well, I appreciate the outstanding intro there, Steve. So I am director of research for the spirit side of the business for Independent Stave, and I'm going on to my 10th year now.
Wow.
Can't believe it's been that long. But it's my job to, as I always have, continue, research and maturation, all facets that we can think about. Design new types of barrels, help distilleries with flavor development, help distilleries with product development. Anybody that's a customer of ISC is welcome to use our research center and our lab to, do a number of different things. So it's my job to coordinate the research, make sure the research is continuing on, and we're not slowing down. So, in a nutshell, that is what I do on a daily basis. So it ends up being about 50% of my day is research. The other 50% of the day is working with customers, answering different questions, talking about new product development, flavor development, that kind of thing. So not much has changed, although they have been given me some new responsibilities. So now I am assisting out with sales in Scotland, new barrel sales in Scotland.
Wow.
So that's been kind of fun. So that means I get to go over there every year and get a taste of the Scotch whiskey scene. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, the past 10 years has just been spirit research. And then this past year, they added on the Scotland new barrels thing. And that's been kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are more distilleries over there utilizing new cooperage? Because you think of Scotch, you always think of the used barrels. They're using used bourbon barrels and stuff like that.
The used bourbon barrels and, the sherry port, those type of barrels, those cross finished barrels, those are still, I would say, largely preferred, by a long shot. But, as, those guys continue to innovate, as the used barrel market fluctuates, you start to get ups and downs in new barrels as well, because they have to fill barrels, right? They wanted to create new products. And so, new barrels offer quite a bit different touch than what they're used to over there. So, it's not a terribly, huge business, for us right now, but, it's growing, which is good.
Yeah. I got one more question for you before I turn you loose on the other two here, and they can ask you some questions. But is anybody, to your knowledge, in Scotland ever making basically a bourbon mash bill? Obviously, they can't call it bourbon, but you're allowed to distill with whatever grains you want. And we see that in Canada. Again, you see there's distilleries in Canada that do mash bills that would be a bourbon mash bill, but they can't call it that. So is anybody in Scotland doing that, or are they sticking to what they know, the single malts and all that kind of stuff?
The distilleries that I get to visit, they're sticking with what they know. They're doing, they're doing just the single malts and, the grain whiskey.
Right.
Kind of the lower ended blended Scotch. But I haven't come across anybody that is replicating any kind of a bourbon, type mash bill or anything like that.
I wonder if they'd be like ostracized because, you think, how do you stand out? If I'm the number one Scotch distiller, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to, stick to all that. But if I'm trying to claw my way up and be a little bit different and stand out, maybe I do an experiment like that. I don't know, but it's weird to hear that nobody's even trying it. So,
they might be. It's just, right. They might be. We just haven't gotten around to them yet. Right now I'm working with the more, what we would call in the bourbon industry, the heritage,
right.
distillers.
Yeah.
But as I continue to keep going over there, we'll start doing, cold knocks and that kind of thing, and visiting some of the smaller guys, and maybe they're doing something crazy. But if they are, I'll be sure to report back to you. Yeah,
I'd appreciate that. Keep me.
Yeah,
we'll break into a podcast. It'll be breaking news with Andrew.
Yeah, breaking news. Yeah. Bourbon being produced in Scotland, sort of,
sort of, kind of. Yeah.
Bourbon inspired.
Yeah. What do you want to know from Mr. Wiehebrink, McNew?
So not bourbon related, but tell us about the farm, because it looks like that keeps growing for you.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff that started up this past year that I took a break from farming. I guess about 3 or 4 years into my stint with Independent Stave Company. I'm on the road 3 hours a day. I'm not as young as I used to be. It was a lot of work. But, we started growing things again out here more or less from just kind of tired of the, processed crap that you get at the grocery store, trying to turn over a new leaf. And so for the first time in a while, last year grew a really big garden, and we decided to do a pumpkin patch for the neighborhood as well. So we grew about 3 or 4 acres of pumpkins. I haven't done that in a long time either. And then we did a U-Pick pumpkin patch. And we were open every weekend in October and had all the neighborhood came by. So that turned out really, really good. We will most likely do that again this year, albeit hopefully a little bit better.
I'll be coming by. I got to get my pumpkin.
Yeah, come on by, man. Absolutely love that.
Go get them there.
We did kind of we had a Harry Potter theme. So we had butterbeer that we were selling. All kinds of little, kind of Harry Potter little.
Look at you.
Nods and stuff like that. And the kids absolutely loved it, and that's kind of why we did it. But I wanted to do a Star Wars themed pumpkin patch, but Jen said that there was absolutely no correlation between fall and Star Wars, which she was right. But
you can throw that in there loosely.
Yeah, we did feel that there was somewhat of a autumn correlation between Harry Potter or the correlation between Harry Potter and fall. So we did that. And this year, like I said, I think we're not going to grow as big of a garden, but we are going to be a little bit more efficient. We're going to do everything in raised beds and probably reduce the size of the garden down to, an acre or so. We're also doing an apothecary garden, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
so I've gotten into tea recently, and started doing some learning about all these different herbs and stuff that are out there, and what makes good tea, what kind of benefits. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just
when you get into something, you go all in. So as long as it's not cocaine, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. No, I'm staying away from that. So no forbidden gardens, so to speak. But so the farm is it is in full force, I'd say. Yeah, we spent a bunch of money on new equipment to make everything a little bit easier because I still have a full-time job that I've got to take care of. So, but yeah, looking forward to trying to grow it into something a little bit more than it has been over the past 10 years.
And where is the farm? I'm sorry, Andrew, I don't know where you call home.
It's in Oldham County. It's about 25 miles northeast of Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Steve's been up here a couple of times, albeit it's been
a little while.
I mean, it had been 7 or 8 years, I'd say.
It's been a while. I don't know about that long, but yeah. So he's got a good place. It's where Jefferson's. You ever go to Jefferson's distillery? Yeah, that's near there. So
okay,
that's kind of where he's at.
5 minutes away from him,
off of Highway 71 there. Yeah. So very cool. Steinkamp, what do you want to know about Wiehebrink and what he's got going on?
So Andrew, we've heard from some of the distilleries, like the big boys, that they're cutting production. The profits aren't what they were. Does that affect you guys as far as barrel production and what you're sending out, or is it still people taking as many barrels as you can send them?
No, it definitely, it affects production, to a certain extent. We've slowed down, which I think is, for, kind of what I can gather is a good thing, because we were running wide open. I mean, we were running 60, 70 hours. I mean, these guys were working, 10-hour days, 6 days a week for, I don't know how many years there. Mm-hmm. So we were able to get another cooperage under our belt, get that up and operating, and kind of spread the workload out a little bit. So, but yeah, anytime, and it happens throughout the year, even, through good years. I mean, the production goes up, it goes down. I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, ebbs and flows when it comes to it, but luckily we're pretty, we got a lot of customers we can easily adapt, and things are going really good.
Okay. Have you considered a cooperage in Lebanon, Illinois? So
anytime it starts with an L and ends with an Ebanon, we'll consider it.
Good news for them.
Yeah,
they're good folks.
Exactly.
It's kind of like they're part of the St. Louis Metro, so they're on the Illinois side. But yeah.
No, I think we're done with cooperages for a while. I don't know. I'm sure you heard Steve. We know we got the Alabama cooperage,
right? Yeah,
that we purchased from Jack Daniels.
Keep you busy.
Yeah. So, we're.
How many is that total now?
As far as new barrel domestic cooperages, that is Missouri, 2 in Kentucky, 1. Is that 4?
4.
Yeah, I think so. 4.
For the two whiskey barrels. Okay.
Did do whiskey barrels. Yeah. And, each one of them do, different things. There's, some of them there's toasting, some of them there's no toasting. Some of them do like French oak, some of them do aged wood. So it just kind of depends. They all do different things.
Yeah. What else do you want to know, Steinkamp? Did you have another question?
I do. So we talked about going to Scotland and used barrels. Have you guys gotten into like being a barrel broker and figuring out where used barrels are going, or helping part of that process? Is there money to be made there?
Yeah, we've. I think it was about 2 or 3 years into my stint with ISC. I think we partnered with Kentucky Bourbon Barrel and acquired those guys, and they're now an official ISC subsidiary. So there used to be the only location was in Louisville, and so we would bring in used barrels from the distilleries. We would repair them, and then we would send them back out. So there's a couple different ways that goes, but I won't bore you with that. But so we have since that time, we've opened 2 more locations. We now have a Kentucky Bourbon Barrel in Lebanon, Kentucky, right across from the cooperage. And then we also have one in Ireland as well, which was a pretty cool development. And we're still, that's a really cool location. We're still outfitting it with, modern equipment and doing some pretty big expansion. I was there for the first time a few years ago, and it was really nothing more than, kind of a large building with an office and just some coopers in there. But now we've added on storage, we've added on brand new machinery. It's going really, really well. So it's kind of a, wherever there's a hub for whiskey, you can, hopefully see a little bit of ISC presence there. And as far as Ireland goes, used barrel facility made sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
It does. So anything you can talk about in terms of experiments, new things? Again, I don't want you to talk about anything proprietary that would get you in trouble. But anything you can share that's kind of new to, because, obviously a very old art making barrels, but you guys are always innovating and doing things. Is there anything that you can talk about that's kind of cool or newer?
Yeah. This whole thing started when we when I got here. They just said, start thinking of experiments, seeing if you get the experiments in place. So, Steve, as you know, and what we do is, we put our barrels, the distilleries filled up with their juice, put it in their warehouses. We get samples back. We do chemical analysis. We do sensory analysis, and that's how we learn what these different barrels are doing. And as far as the American whiskeys goes, we've pretty much kind of studied everything. So from, anything from char level to wood seasoning to oak species rather, all the basic, what we call flavor levers, we've pretty much done multiple experiments in each one. So, about a year ago, I started to look kind of beyond the barrel and look beyond oak. And so we did some experiments that don't necessarily involve the barrel, but involve kind of the atmosphere or the environment of the barrel. So we did a warehouse experiment with the guys over at Willett. We put like 6 identical barrels on each floor, put temperature and humidity sensors on each floor. And we kind of let that age out. And then we kind of looked at the GC versus the temperature patterns and made some pretty cool things. I'll be presenting that next year, or I'm sorry, excuse me, I want to say that for a while. I'll be presenting that this year at the UK conference. We did a climate experiment with Balcones and 5 other distilleries where we took a bunch of whiskey, put it in a bunch of identical barrels. We let it age in different parts of the country over in Scotland, try to isolate that climate variable to see what that was going. And that was a really, really cool. Both of those experiments were really successful. We got a lot of really, really good information off of that. I don't think it was necessarily anything groundbreaking, but as you guys know, in this industry, it's a lot of this is the way it's been done because this is the way my dad did it, my grandpa did it, that kind of stuff. A lot of times it's right, but sometimes it's really good to kind of see the data on paper and see why it's exactly right, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then we started messing around. Like I flew in about 55 different types of wood species other than oak. And started doing some testing just to kind of see what was out there. Not that it really, not that anything is really commercially viable. A lot of that stuff's expensive, difficult to source. You can't make it into a barrel, but after a while of after a long time of experimenting with oak flavors, it's sometimes kind of fun to see what else is out there. And there's some really, really good stuff out there.
Is there anything you could share? I mean, I just think about, if you go back 2 years ago, none of us have heard of Amberana. It wasn't a thing. Now everyone hears about it. And I don't particularly like that finish.
Boy, did it swing quickly.
I kind of hate that finish, but are there things like that out there? Like, man, at some point you got to try something that's been finished in this, a wood that we're not necessarily familiar with at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Just the unfortunate thing is a lot of those woods, for a number of different reasons, you can't make into a barrel. It's either too porous, it's too dense, it doesn't bend. But it does put off good flavors. So, I mean, you could theoretically, use it like a tank stave or something like that if you could get past the FDA, which their approval process is pretty strenuous and expensive. So, but ebony wood makes some really, really good flavors. Like a really,
I never heard that before. No.
Yeah, it makes some really, really good heavy vanilla flavors. There's a wood from South America called leopard wood.
Yeah.
It kind of steps in the ring with Amberana a little bit, but it's just not as intense.
Okay.
It produces some really good flavors.
Leopard wood. Okay.
Yeah, leopard wood. There's one called fishtail oak.
Okay.
I'm not even really sure it's an oak, but the reason it's called fishtail oak because the pattern, the fleck looks like a bunch of fishtails.
Gotcha.
It kind of has a fanny pattern there, but that produces some really, really good flavors. And there's some that produce some absolutely awful flavors. I can't remember any of them.
Amberana was the name of one of those.
It gets such a bad rap now.
I hate Amberana. I do.
I know.
Because nobody does it right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody it sits in there too long.
Well, they think here's a good thing, and then what's better of a good thing? Even more. Yeah, it's like what's better of making more bacon? That it's that mindset that gets them into this where it's just too much, and then I'm just off. I'm done with it now.
It seems like anything that makes whiskey not taste like whiskey seems to skyrocket. Yeah, I mean, Amberana, it came in quick, and as you guys know, anything in this industry that shoots off like a rocket, it tends to kind of
everybody jumps
not
in.
Not all the time, not all the time, but it tends to kind of die pretty quick too. And I think we used to get a lot of those requests a few years ago. I haven't seen an Amberana request in quite some time.
Okay,
interesting.
That's good to know, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's fun stuff. I enjoy talking to you. We could talk to you all night about all kinds of different things, but don't want to take up too much time on this, but love to keep having you back. And from time to time, we'll do one of these where we just kind of find out what's going on because, you're at the forefront of this stuff and, you get to see things before they happen. So it's kind of cool. Kind of cool, buddy.
Yeah. Absolutely. I hope we can reschedule another one. I'm hoping by, I've got a few new hobbies that are coming up. I'm hoping by maybe March or April, I will have taken my first steps into those hobbies, and I'll have some interesting and fun stuff to report back.
Okay, all right. I can't wait to learn more. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
Steve, he'd be another great one if we can get him back to the shop again.
Yes, yeah. I've talked to him about that.
No, I love the shop, man. That was
holy cow! That session that you did was mind blowing, and it was great. As a little bitty small brand owner guy, to see all the distillers that were there writing notes,
taking notes,
like madmen.
That was cool.
It was incredible. And then those guys and gals asking questions. It was incredible. That was one of my favorite sessions.
I appreciate it. That was one of the more fun sessions. And, obviously Steve's created something very, very cool there in an environment where that kind of stuff does, garner some attention. But, I just wanted to sit in the shop and just, talk to people and drink all day. But, we will definitely get back to the shop when we have the opportunity to stay, at a hotel. We don't have to worry about driving, all the way back to.
Yeah, we'd love to have you do that. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I always have to take a step back when you're in that mode because, dude, you are, incredibly intelligent. You do some of the coolest things in the bourbon world, and you're able to convey all that stuff in a manner that's easy to understand and digest, even when you're not when I'm not Andrew Wiehebrink. I'm just a normal person sitting there. I can understand it, and you do a good job with that stuff, man. And that's not easy. I appreciate it. That's not easy.
Well, it's just, it's really easy to talk, kind of explain it on that level when I don't have the ability to explain it at an intelligent level.
That's not true.
Yeah, my vocabulary is not what it should be. So it goes both ways there.
But, and that aside, then when we just get together, you just get shit like everybody else. Maybe you get more shit because you're just a nice guy. I
get more shit.
I think you do too. I think you end up in the crosshairs more often than most should. So, yeah.
Well, I can, after a few, I can put myself into some interesting situations that maybe merits a little bit of, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Maybe merits a little bit of commentary.
I do have to, there's one issue I had with Wiehebrink one time, and this was when the three of us went out, Bronner, me, and Wiehebrink. We go out, we're drinking, and then we come back, and Bronner decides he wants to do a karaoke show. And Wiehebrink just disappeared. The Irish exit. And it leaves me and Bronner still wants to do his set. And then he goes up and he sings a song. I was clapping. I'm like, oh, good night, man. I appreciate it. And he's like, no, I got 3 more songs to do.
Obviously,
Wiehebrink's gone. I was cussing Wiehebrink that night.
Obviously, he'd already seen this before and knew to get out.
Yeah.
He knew to get out.
I knew it was coming, man. I knew you were in for, I knew you were for the debut LP if you stuck around. So
right.
I was out of there.
Yeah. The best thing was, again, I was only anticipating one song, so I put it out on, Instagram Live, and it records, it leaves it out there like 24 hours or something. So Bronner sees it the next day and says, oh, that was a bad song. I'm taking it out of my set. I'm like, no, they were all that bad. That was maybe the highlight.
Taking it out of my set.
I'm taking it out of his set.
Well,
after seeing it, he realized that's a really bad song. He's taking it out of his set. I didn't record the other ones. I should have recorded all of them. And then, yeah.
Well, the habit is amplified now because Steve. I don't know if you're aware, and McNew, and I don't know when the last time you were even in that part of town. But there is a karaoke bar right across the street from Bistro now.
Oh God!
Oh
yeah.
Is Bronner part owner? He got a hand in it.
This place, I remember because it's his old restaurant.
It's pizza place. Yeah,
the old restaurant. It's now, I guess it's a Chinese food or something like that, and they have karaoke. And we walked over there when they first opened, just absolutely dead. And it was like that for a while, and all of a sudden it just like caught on. And now you go there, and it's 2 hours to wait. So
really,
But anyway, it's a good setup though.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Steinkamp, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Investment Whiskey.
Wiehebrink.
You can find me on Instagram sometimes at Andrew_in_Kentucky.
All right. McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see me. The ABV Barrel Shop, you never know what's going on. There might be somebody like Wiehebrink there, so it's worth coming in and checking us out. So see our events and so much more at abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
See ya.
See you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri, or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.